So, good evening. Welcome to a program called Facts of Fiction. And in this program, we are going to look at some of the economic issues that are trending in this country. And we are going to ask ourselves whether some of those programs are factual or fiction. A factual or a fact, in this case, is a program that can be implemented. We have seen it being implemented, while fiction is just something that tries to make us believe that some of these things can be able to happen, but in actual fact, they cannot be able to happen. Therefore, they are fictitious things. Now, the first program that I want us to have, economic issue that I want us to look at, is the social welfare program, the Baba's social welfare program, the 6K social welfare program. And allow me to start by saying that some of these social programs or social welfare programs are usually created or developed specifically as a way of giving financial help to some of the people who have challenges. Now, if you look at what Baba has been talking about, a social welfare program where people are going to be getting 6,000 shillings per month, especially those people who are not well endowed, especially who do not have jobs. Now, for me to be able to answer that question, whether it is a fact or a fiction, I think I should first of all go to the Constitution, Article 43 of the Kenyan Constitution, where it talks about the economic and social rights. So, one of the rights that Kenyans have from this Constitution is that every person has the right to social security. And it goes further and talks about Article 43 goes further and talks about a situation where the state should provide appropriate social security to persons who are unable to support themselves and they are dependent. And therefore, what Baba is talking about is something that is already in the Constitution, something that is supposed to be happening, especially to the people who are vulnerable. Now, we have had very many social welfare programs in this country, and the cash transfer to the old is one of it. We also have the NHIF, National Health and Insurance Fund, is one of them. Is also a social welfare program. We also have NSSF and many others, especially for the disabled and those people who are mostly marginalized. Actually, yeah, most of the people who are marginalized. And the reason behind some of these things being there is because of what I've talked about. The Constitution gives us as one of the basic rights, whether that those people who cannot be able to acquire something or unable to get what they are supposed to get, or they are not in a capability of getting what is supposed to be there for them, then the government has a duty to help them get some of those very important amenities. And in most cases, we are talking about what we call the the basic needs. Now, allow me to go further and look at some of the advantages and the disadvantages of the social welfare. Now, one of the advantages of some of these programs is that they help people during the great times of need. If you go back to what has been happening in most of these developed nations like USA, they have had a situation where during COVID, they were getting some little amount of money from their government for their upkeep. Now, that was being done specifically because their program, they've developed a good social welfare program, and therefore they can be able to also give some of the people who are not capable of helping themselves, especially with the basic needs, something small so that they can be able to continue with their life. Now, another advantage is that they are usually caps placed on welfare benefits, meaning that it is not everybody who can be able to get some of this benefit. And also, sometimes you also have the duration of time that you can get some of this money. So if you look at the cash transfer one for the older generation, there is a cap that there is an age cap in this country where the people who are supposed to get some of these things are the cash transfer money, the social welfare cash transfer money, are between a given age or a given age in this country. And therefore, we usually have some of these caps, especially when it comes to some of these welfare schemes. Welfare programs can reduce crime activities, especially when we are talking about the downtrodden people. We are giving the right people the the money, or whatever help that we are talking about, then we can see a situation where there can be a minimal issues of what we call crime rate, basically because people at least they can be able to get their basic wants. Now, more children receive help through welfare than other demographics, and you will agree with me. One of the reasons as to why children will always get more is because they are more dependent than many of us. Many of us, especially the senior citizen or the people who are beyond the age of 18, and therefore you will find that most of the social welfare schemes, in most cases, they benefit children more than the grown-ups. Most welfare programs provide help to the people who need it most. Now, that is what is supposed to happen, but I don't think those are some of the things that happens in this country, and therefore I think that is why you see people have a challenge when we talk about it, because we have seen so many social welfare programs which have been developed in this country, but the money does not even get to the people it is supposed to target, or the people that it is targeting. Welfare benefits supplement the income of the working parents, and actually that is what it's supposed to do, to supplement the little income that we get outside there, so that at least we can be able to cater for our basic want. Welfare programs don't give benefit to everyone. Yes, in most cases it will give some of this help or benefit. It will benefit the most the vulnerable people in society. We have the disabled, we have the real poor in the country, we have the children, as I've said, children, because they are dependable. Then in most cases you'll find that some of these programs will benefit them most. Now, some of the disadvantages, and I think that these are some of the things that are making people have a 50-50 issue with what the president is talking about, the Prime Minister is talking about, is that welfare programs do not offer enough money to make a significant difference. And you can see in it that he is talking about the 6,000 shillings per month, which, although it is especially in some rural areas, people can be able to actually live with it. If you look at the kind of the poverty levels that we have in our society right now, especially in our vicinity, 6,000 is very little money for a whole month. That is why you see people having issues with it. The other one is people who take welfare benefit face other numerous negative societal reactions. It is very true, basically because of depending on some of this money, and therefore you find that in most cases people become dependable on them, and it might also bring a situation where people are not even willing to work, basically because they are going to get the little money. Welfare program supports are often inconsistent in the application, and we have seen it with the cash transfer for the old women in this country, where we even see some people who are not supposed to get the money, getting the money, or getting the transfers. So welfare does not make an effort to address the issue of poverty. One of the reasons as to why I think that is also an argument that is being propelled is because it does not show people how to fish, but it gives people fish. But if some of these cash welfare, if some of these cash welfare or social welfare programs can be created or developed in such a way that we have a cap of how long somebody can be able to benefit from them, then we can see whether they can be able to also create some of an impactful way of living of our people. Now, the other one is welfare program can create pattern of dependence, and I've talked about that some people might take advantage of some of these programs, and they even stop working basically because there's something that is coming. We have seen some of these things happening in South Africa, and also I think in America, especially, yeah, in America and other countries. And therefore, I think Kenya is not also a country where you will not also fight some of these things. The cost of oversight for this program is in expense we do not often budget for. True, if you look at one of the challenges that we have had with our cash transfer welfare for the older generation, the oversight is also a big problem because you find that even some of the people who get some of this money are not the right people who are supposed to get. And these are some of the things that are supposed to be done as part and parcel of oversight. So thank you very much for listening. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe so that anytime we have a topic that we are discussing, we can notify you. So thank you very much.